Flow, control, speed, accuracy, balance. Those are just 5 qualities that us as drummers should strive to improve. In this video, I'm going to give you some ideas of exercises that you can just sit and play on the kit. And the big idea is that each exercise I'm going to show you fits one of these qualities. So let's get into it. The first exercise is a flow exercise, and you're going to play 2 distinct patterns here. The first one is right, left, left, and the second one is left, left, right. You'll play 1 bar of the first, 1 bar of the second, but there'll be a few accents, a few ghost notes. Here's how it sounds. The idea here is this improves your flow because this is a great interlinking pattern to play when you need to think of something to play. So if you're playing around the drums and you don't know what to play next, you can just revert to playing this, and that will give you time to think about what else you can play while this still sounds quite cool while you're playing it. So the exercise was on the snare drum, but what you can do is take your right hand and your left hand and move that around the kit for all the accents. Up next, we're going to look at an exercise that helps you develop your control, and for this one, we're going to focus on ghost notes. So here, I'm playing 16th note ghost notes on my snare drum the whole time. So this is a very common exercise that people get drummers to play. However, I've felt that when I've practiced this exercise, I often go onto autopilot and I can just do it. But if I have to start changing things up, I completely fall off. So I've altered this exercise slightly so that you're going to play it in 3 different ways. Firstly, you're going to play 16th notes on your hi-hat. Then you're going to play 8th notes on your hi-hat, and then you're going to play quarter notes on your hi-hat. And doing that will help you think more intentionally about what you're playing on the drums. The next quality is speed. Obviously, there are so many things you can play on the drums to improve your speed. But here's one exercise that I absolutely love, and it kind of gives the illusion of speed because I don't think this is that hard to play. You just need to get comfortable with playing ghost notes on your snare drum. If you just do that over and over, it's a great drill to work on speed between your hands on the kit. However, there is a cool way of playing this to make it sound like more of a groove or more of like a chop. And what you're going to do is play that pattern 5 times as 30-second notes to fill a bar, but you're going to be left with 2 notes before the bar actually ends. And those 2 notes, you're just going to play bass drum ride and then a ghost note, and then you're going to loop the whole thing. accuracy. Again, so many things you can work out on the drums to work on your accuracy, but here's a really fun exercise to play that works on how accurately you strike the drums. We're going to play double strokes here, and you're just going to go around the kit. However, in the first bar, you're going to actually play the double strokes on the drums. In the second bar, you're going to play the double strokes on the rims of all the drums. So the goal here is to accurately move between actually striking the drums and striking the rims. When working on this exercise, I actually realized that my drum kit's not really set up optimally because I kept kind of falling over my hands and hitting things that I shouldn't have. And then when I moved things slightly, it gave me more room, and that was a big help. For the next exercise, we're going to work on balance, and I'll be super honest here. I'm going to show you how to play this exercise, but I personally absolutely suck at this. This is a concept that only the proest of pro drummers get really good at playing, and it is playing alternating single notes between one hand and your foot. So the exercise here is you're going to alternate between a drum and your bass drum, and you're going to go around the kit. In the first bar, you're going to use your right hand the whole time. Second time, you're going to use your left hand the whole time. And then the third time, you're going to alternate between your right and your left hand. So that was me playing that slowly. Here's me trying to play that quickly. While I'm teaching you guys, I'm also constantly trying to learn myself, and just vulnerability. I wish I was good at that exercise. After filming this video and this lesson, I'm gonna actually go practice it. Okay, so how the heck do these guys play things like this? In this video, I'm going to show you how these pro drummers just effortlessly chop around the drums. I'm going to give you 3 distinct ideas, and we're going to play around with those. And once you learn those and practice them, you'll be able to play the exact same type of thing. So we're going to look at 3 distinct patterns. Pattern A, pattern B, and pattern C. If you just learn those patterns and mix them together, play them around the kit, you sorted. That's how you can chop around the drums. That's basically the lesson. Just go practice that if you want to. But if you want a bit of help, keep watching. I'm going to give you some ideas of how to use these around the drums. Before we get there, I just want to quickly mention you can get a free 30-day trial to Drumeo. If you want to try the Drumeo platform out, follow the link in the description under this video. Completely free for 30 days. Go check it out. Okay, so before we get these patterns and mix them together, let's just practice the patterns on their own. So pattern A, right, left kick. Let's move that around the drums. Get used to it. Moving on to pattern B, right, left, left, kick. Here's that around the kit. Pattern C, this is a bit different. Instead of starting with your right hand, you're going to start with your left hand. So this is going to go left, right, left, kick. Here it is around the kit. So remember, we're labeling these pattern A, B, and C. So in this first combination, we're going to go A, B, C, A. That A at the end just wraps it up nicely so that it completes the phrase, and then you start again. Next combination, we're just going to go A, B, and C, but we're going to do C over and over until the bar ends. But what you'll notice is that it doesn't quite finish at the end of the bar, so then we're just going to add in a few notes to wrap that up to start the phrase again. Combo 3, we're going to start by playing pattern A twice. So right, left, kick, right, left, kick. And then you're just going to do pattern C the whole time until the end of the phrase so that you end on the one with a crash cymbal, or if you start the pattern again. What I'm going to show you next is quite cool. Instead of playing around the drums, I'm just going to mess around with those patterns just between the snare drum, the hi-hat, and the bass drum. So those would be considered chop patterns that help you just flow around the kit, and that is how you play drums like the pros. If you want to learn more patterns like this, I have a whole bunch on a free ebook that you can download for free from the description. Go check that out. It's just got a whole bunch of different chop patterns that you can learn and do the exact same thing as what we've done in this video. But the last thing I want to do here is just jam these patterns around the kit and end the video out. I've always been quite a lazy guy, but growing up, as I was getting better at the drums, I kind of utilized that to my advantage. So in this video, I'm going to show you a very lazy way of getting good at the drums. Don't get me wrong, you need to sit down and practice diligently, and that is going to be the quickest way and the most foundational way of getting better at the drums. However, what I'm going to talk about in this video is a slightly different way that kind of helps you out when you're really not feeling like sitting there on the kit and playing the same thing for an hour to get better at it. So the laziest way to get better at the drums is when you sit down and have some time to play on the drums, you're going to improvise. Improvising is when you just play whatever comes out your head, and in doing that, the more you play, the better you get. But improvising can be quite tough because it's so open-ended, so I'm going to give you a few different ideas of what you can latch onto while improvising, and in doing that, you're going to get better at the drums. So let's get into it. The first idea to kind of stick with is to play with dynamics. So when you sit at the kit, think about creating big sounds and small sounds and just going up and down between those, and then just play around the drums and see what you can do. The next thing you can stick to when improvising and sticking with one idea is to just play grooves. So instead of playing like a mini drum solo type thing, just stick to playing between the hi-hat and the snare drum, and maybe every now and then go to the toms, but make sure to just stay within the grooving area and see what you can do just doing that. Before we get to the next idea, I want to tell you guys about Drumeo. So we all know about Drumeo, biggest online drum lesson platform on the internet. It's a fantastic way to actually get materials and lessons from all the pro drummers. If you want to try it out and you've never tried it out before, there is a 30-day trial linked below this video. It's free to try it out for 30 days. Before I was actually like in the platform, I always wanted to see what's there, and there are thousands upon thousands of videos, so go check those out. The next idea is to do subdivisions, so you could go from eighth notes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 around the kit, and then you switch that up to 16th notes, 1 eander, 2 eander, 3 eander, 4 eander, and you go back and forth like that. And as you're just playing random things and ideas coming out, just try to switch between different subdivisions and different speeds and sounds of what you can kind of get out of the kit. It's a great way of focusing on something but not limiting yourself too much. Next idea is to repeat ideas. This is a fantastic way of improvising because it gives you an anchor to something. So it gives you something to lock onto, and then you can go from there. So basically, just play the same thing on the drums a bunch of times, and then play a few other things, but then keep going back to that thing. Side note, when you're playing a drum solo, this is what crowds like to hear. But when you're just sitting on the drums and practicing and doing this whole lazy method of practicing and getting better, it's just a great way of kind of sticking to one idea and then seeing what your mind can create or what your body can kind of create while having that anchor. It's kind of like if you're swimming in a pool and you're in the deep end, you kind of swim to the edge of the pool and hold on to give yourself a bit of a break, and then you can push off the wall and go swim in the deep end again. This is what repeating ideas in practicing is like. The more you play drums, the better you get. It's just a very simple concept. It's what I did my whole life. I'm quite good at playing the drums, but I would probably say like 30% of my lifetime was sitting at the kit and really working out things. As I was a kid and as I grew up into like being a teenager and stuff, every day I would just sit and play. And in doing that, I was getting better because I just sat down, improvised. I could kind of see what I could play, and then I started figuring things out, and then you kind of work with them from there. And that's where improvising really helps you just iron out your skills. In this video, I'm going to show you how to play this. So there's one pattern that in my life I can look back and say that absolutely changed the progression of all of my drumming. It's just a 3-note triplet pattern where you go right, left, left. The right is accented, the 2 lefts are ghost notes. So practice that, get it down really comfortable, and from here I'm going to show you how to play a few drum fills and a few grooves to really utilize this pattern. Once you go through these grooves and drum fills, from there you're going to take it and try to do your own things. This first one, we're just going to move your right hand around the kit. Up next, we're going to just switch between playing 16th notes and 16th note triplets with this pattern. The next fill idea, we're going to keep this fill between the snare drum and the hi-hat. This one sounds really cool. Now we're going to move on to grooves using this 3-note pattern, but before we get there, I just need to tell you guys about Drumeo. So we all know Drumeo, the biggest online lesson platform on the internet. If you've ever wanted to try it, here's your chance. I have a free 30-day trial link in the description of this video. You sign up, it's free, you can use it for 30 days with no strings attached. Just go try that out. Drumeo is a fantastic platform to learn anything. If you want to get drum lessons from the actual pro drummers, the best drummers in the world, most of them are all there on that platform, so go check it out. Okay, so here's a groove using this 3-note pattern. Next groove will be a bit of the same, but we're going to add just eighth notes at the end. This next groove takes the pattern around the toms, sounds really cool, check it out. So that right, left, left pattern, once you get it down, it will absolutely change how you play the drums. It's just such a cool sounding and easy pattern to play, and if you really work at it, you can really start playing some cool things. No matter what instrument you play, there is one way that everyone tells you to use a metronome. What if I told you that that way wasn't the best way to practice and there are other things you can do with the metronome that may just be more effective? In this video, I'm going to show you 5 different ways of effectively practicing with the metronome. Let's get into it. Method number 1, play on the and counts. By this I mean if the metronome is counting and it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, shift each count half a note forward so that instead of counting on the 1, your metronome actually lands on the and. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It tends to help you ingrain that sense of groove a little bit better. So here's me trying that out on the drum. Method number 2, subdivisions. So most of us, if we want to practice, we turn the metronome on and it just plays quarter notes and we just play along to that. But if you want to kind of get a better feel for things or encourage yourself to play different things, it's a good idea to actually activate subdivisions underneath those quarter note pulses. So an example, which I'm going to show you here, is there is a quarter note pulse, so 1, 2, 3, 4, but there are triplets subdivided in between those. So it's 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. And then as I'm just improvising on the drum kit, that subdivided metronome sound is making me play certain things. So actually practicing with a metronome like this and putting those subdivided things on just encourages you and like pushes you to play things surrounded by that, and you can choose a whole bunch of different subdivisions, but here's an example using triplets. Before we get to the next methods, I just want to tell you guys about Drumeo. We all know Drumeo, biggest drum platform on the internet to learn drums. If you have ever wanted to try out Drumeo, there is a link in the description of this video for a free 30-day trial. No strings attached. You try it out free for 30 days, see what it's all about. I highly recommend it. Go check the link. Method number 3, gap clicks. So here's the next method. Instead of just having your metronome do a pulse indefinitely, a gap click is where you randomize space so that it stops clicking. So for example, it will click for 3 bars and then on the 4th bar, the click disappears and it's your job to kind of keep time until that click comes back. This is a fantastic way of developing your internal sense of timing. So here it is on the drums. Method number 4, odd times. I don't mean just play in odd times here, so don't go on the metronome and put it on 7/4 or 7/8. What I actually mean is keep your metronome at a solid 4/4 quarter note pulse, but then as you're playing the drums, as you hear that quarter note pulse, it's your job to play odd times over it. What this does is you're going to hear that quarter note pulse, but you're going to be playing something that's clashing with it, and this is going to help you with phrasing. So what happens with us drummers is when we learn how to play drums, we tend to sound quite square in what we play. By that I mean if you play a drum fill, it's going to be eighth notes or 16th notes or triplets, but it's going to sound very solid like this. Whereas when you start getting into phrasing, instead of playing kaka-doom, baka-boom, ba-ba-ba-ba-boom, crash as a fill, one with the more unique phrasing would be like a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, which means that the phrasing is just a bit different. It doesn't sound as square. So a good way to practice this is to have this clashing thing where you have an odd time over a quarter note pulse. And then what I'm going to do here on the drums is I'll play to that quarter note pulse in 4/4. I'll change to 7/4 and then I'll come back to 4/4 every now and then. And it's my job to kind of catch the one of that 4/4. And that gets you used to playing that unique phrasing. So here it goes. Method number 5, super slow pulse. This next way of using the metronome is just so that you really lock in with your internal sense of timing. Instead of having a gap click like before, here it's going to be constant. It's just going to be very slow. So there'll be lots of space between each click, and then it is your job to just keep time here. You'll see me playing this as an example, and as I was watching it, I realized, shucks, I'm rushing my drum fills, and it's only in kind of practicing this way and seeing how you do it, you can realize that you're rushing your drum fills. So this kind of helps you identify where your timing struggles are. So here's me playing to a really slow click. In this video, I'm going to show you a really cool way of playing the drums, but we are going to take it from entry-level beginner all the way to advanced pro-level crap. So there are 5 levels of these drum grooves, and in each level we'll look at an easy version and a much harder version. So if you can play from level 1 all the way to level 5, you are an incredible drummer. Let's get into it. So the idea here is all these grooves are linear, which means you don't play any limbs at the same time. Level 1 looks like this. Now let's take level 1 and spice it up a bit. Moving on to level 2, we're going to now turn it into 16th notes, so we're counting 1E and a 2E and a etc. Here we go. Let's change that up a bit to make it sound more interesting. Before we get to level 3, I just want to let you guys know that if you've ever wanted to try out the Drumeo platform, so Drumeo, we all know Drumeo, big educational platform where you can learn anything. There's thousands of lessons. You can follow the link in the description below this video to get a free 30-day trial, no strings attached. Go check that out. So here's level 3. We're now adding dynamics, which is softs and louds. Let's change that up a bit for version B of level 3. Okay, level 4, we're now going to turn this into 16th note triplets, and we're going to play a halftime shuffle. Let's ramp that up to play one of the best grooves I know how to play. And now we've made it to level 5. We are now playing 30-second notes, which is like Lewis Cole, J.D. Beck, Yusef Days type stuff. Let's look at the first groove. And for our final groove, we'll ramp that up to play something really cool on the drums. So that's linear drumming in 5 levels. What's cool about linear drumming is you can take the concepts that we've been playing here and you can actually play them around the kit to make drum fills and different drum patterns using the same sticking. I love this pattern. It's easy to play and it sounds incredible. What you just saw there is a 3-note pattern, and I'm going to focus on that for this lesson. It just goes kick, right, left. Simple pattern, you just play it in triplets to get that good sound. It's like the John Bonham thing, even though John Bonham played it a little bit differently. Anyway, it's just kick, right, left, repeating. Sounds incredible when you get it up to speed. We're going to do drum fills, drum grooves, improvising, all that good stuff. So to kick off the lesson, let's just start with a few basic drum fills around the kit. Those fills all involve just playing that kick, right, left pattern over and over. For the next section, we're going to look at drum fills where we're going to play something for beat 1 and 2, and then we're only going to start that kick, right, left repeating pattern on beat 3, and that's going to play till the end of the bar to crash into the next bar. Up next, we're going to take that kick, right, left pattern and just put it in random places for different drum fills. See how that sounds. The next thing to do here is take the kick, right, left triplet pattern and just improvise around the kit using that. So just play whatever around the kit, get creative with what you're doing, but try incorporate that pattern and see what you can do.